Is SIG cooked? I own one SIG Sauer firearm, P365, that I've turned into a 365 XL macro comp kind of pistol. I've carried this for a long time. I trust it with my life. Would I buy a SIG P320? Not at this point. But the problem is that it's gone past the P320 now. So it's getting harder and harder to ignore what seems to be pretty obvious. And when SIG said it ends today, it absolutely did not end. Anytime that I post anything about SIG now on the YouTube channel or on my Facebook page, whether it's about this or anything else that I see posted about SIG, all of the comments are disparaging comments about the P320 or something like it NDs today. SIG has completely botched the whole situation, and I think it's causing their company major problems. Major problems, I would call it a significant problem. The thing is this. One gun, the SIG P320, uncommanded discharges, more and more evidence that, that it's not just negligent handling. I'm sure there is a little bit of that, and I'm sure, at this point, if somebody does have an ND with a P320, it's pretty easy to probably blame it on the gun, considering which gun it is. But there are police departments all over the country and, all kinds of departments that will not allow their officers to carry the SIG P320 anymore. And they're dropping contracts and going with other things like Glocks, which are known to be reliable. Now, when this whole thing first started, a lot of people were like, oh, well, do you remember Glock leg? When people first, were coming from double action revolvers, I'm talking police departments, and going to striker fired guns, and they were having NDs. Well, that was a training issue. It seems that with the P320, it is more and more looking like it is a pistol issue. And it is kind of a unique pistol. And I think, again, this is not a P320. I don't own one. I'm just using this as an example because it's my only SIG firearm. The P320, just like this, it does not have a manual safety. There are manual safety versions, but generally it does not. Most striker-fired guns don't normally come with a manual safety. But normally they do have like a trigger dingus safety, like I have on this M&P. So there's this extra part there, and if that doesn't get pulled, the trigger can't pull. So that is your safety. That's what lets the trigger be actuated. Well, SIG, in their infinite wisdom, with the P320 and the P365, does not have a trigger dingus safety. And it's honestly kind of a light trigger for a striker-fired gun. Nothing like a 1911 trigger, but again, 1911 has multiple safeties. The SIG does not really. And in fact, even its striker block safety is not the normal type. So again, in this M&P here, just like in Glocks and many other striker-fired guns, right under here there is a plunger with a spring, and that sticks down until the trigger bar, moving backwards, pushes up on that plunger, pushing it out of the way, which will let the striker go forward and ignite the primer. So that's a whole nother safety besides this trigger safety. That's why you can have striker-fired guns without manual safeties, because for one, you can't pull the trigger without actually having good trigger placement with your finger. And for two, if that trigger isn't pulled, the striker can't go forward if the gun is dropped or whatever else. It would be really hard to make this gun fire uncommanded. Not so much we're finding with the SIG P320. The thing is the way that SIG has handled the situation is kind of ruining their whole reputation. There are SIG guns that I've wanted. I really like the Spear LT. I've handled them. I would love an 11.5 inch Spear LT, SBR. It's a very, very good looking gun. And it's a great gun. I've got a friend that owns one. He absolutely loves it. I'd also love to have a SIG P226. It's kind of one of the guns that I've always wanted. I handled an X5 Legion, P226 X5 Legion the other day. It's an amazing pistol. But the thing is even with all of these other really good products like the P365, a lot of people just don't want to support SIG anymore. But this video is sponsored by Aura. You know how you get just spam, junk mail in your email? You get spam phone calls. You get people trying to scam you in this modern day and age. It happens a lot, and it happened a lot to me before I got Aura. But I've had Aura for over a year now, and they've taken care of all that. How did they do that? Well, how do you get all that spam and scams coming your way? It's because your data has been leaked on the internet. And that happens when you buy something online. You know, you put credit card information in, or your bank card information. When, there's a lot of ways it happens, but everybody, a big part of their life is online these days, and your information is out there, and it's being sold by data brokers to the scammers and the spammers, and they're making millions of dollars, probably billions. Well, Aura protects you from all that, and they do it for just $12 a month, and they do all the rest of your online security as well. They can manage your passwords. They have scam call protection. They have a whole team in the United States that will help you if you do happen to get scammed. They do all of that for you. And you can try it out absolutely free for 2 weeks, 14 days, using my link, aura.com/sawtoothtactical. See if you find out that it's right for you or not. I've been using it for over a year. It is right for me. It's actually made a big difference in my life. I love that I don't have spam emails anymore. When I look at my email, it's only the stuff that I want to get. I love that I can answer my phone, even if it's a number I don't recognize, and know that it's not a scam or spam. Aura has done that for me. They could do it for you as well. My privacy is important to me, and yours should be important to you as well. Again, try it out absolutely free for 2 weeks at aura.com/sawtoothtactical. So the problem with the way that SIG has handled this whole P320 thing, by just trying to brush it under the rug, by gaslighting everybody, I hate that term, but that is literally what they're doing. They're, anybody brings it up, they say, oh, well, it's because, if you have a weapon mounted light, then, it doesn't fully cover the trigger guard and something can get in there and pull the trigger. Well, how come that only seems to happen to P320s and not other pistols? I have weapon mounted lights on all my pistols. None of them have ever had an uncommanded discharge. Probably if I had a P320, it wouldn't either. I mean, the chance is very low, but there is a chance, and it's much higher than it is with any other gun on the market, it seems. And SIG just seems to act like that's not true, and that you are, what was the word? Basically you're an anti-gunner, you're a grifter, you're an engagement hacking shill. Whatever it was, they're trying to call out anybody that is calling out what's actually going on as working for the anti-gun side, which is not the case at all. In fact, I would love nothing more than for SIG to fix this problem and fix their reputation, because like I said, they do have guns that I think are fantastic. I really do want to get a 226, either single action only Legion or an X5 Legion. I want to get a Spear LT 5.56 11.5 inch. There are guns from SIG that I think are great, and I'm sure other people do as well. But the thing is that people just don't trust the company anymore. They don't trust the leadership, and they don't want to support a company that is run by bad people. And it's looking more and more like SIG is run by bad people. I hate to say that in the 2A space because, they're a firearms manufacturer, one with a lot of history. But the people that are running the company are, doing a poor job with their public image right now. Now, maybe it won't matter. Maybe they'll just fall back, on all of their government military contracts, which they have a lot of. But that's kind of the problem too. So the M17, M18, these are, the military's sidearms. Well, with all these police departments dropping the P320, when will the military decide to do the same thing? I mean, whether it seems like it or not, we do want to keep our soldiers safe, right? And yes, they don't go for their secondary all that often in battle, but still, we want them to be carrying something that is as safe as a gun can be. And SIG is making it hard for private citizens, departments, militaries, whatever, to look the other way anymore and to think that it's a good idea to carry the P320. And like I said, a lot of people now just don't want to have anything to do with SIG at all. Even their other much better product lines, people don't want to buy them because they don't want to support SIG. I don't think I've seen a positive comment about SIG Sauer in months. Every single time SIG is brought up, something from SIG is talked about, there's some kind of joke about the P320, something negative said about SIG, something, even if I make a video about the P365 and how much I love it, and I do. I've carried this gun for a long time. I trust it. I shoot it well. I carry it appendix with a round chambered. I'm not worried about having a accidental discharge with it, an uncommanded discharge. If I was, I wouldn't have it pointed at my junk with a round chambered. I'm not worried about this gun, but if I post a video about it, all I'm going to get are comments about the P320 and about trusting SIG and about not supporting SIG. So is SIG cooked? I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments. To me, it's looking more and more that way, but again, maybe they just don't care what us, simple private citizens think because of all of their military contracts. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I really appreciate your comments. I read every one of them. I try to reply to as many as I can. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. Make sure you subscribe to Sawtooth Tactical. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped, and it ends today.